Enchanted Roses. Tuesday morning dawns bright and clear. The town of Briarwood is just waking up when Jacob Cole, the miller's son, steps outside to begin his day's work. There, lying on his doorstep, as if placed by careful hands, is a single, perfect red rose. Not just any rose, this one is flawless. The petals are velvet, the stem thornless, the colour so deep it's nearly crimson. Jacob stares at it, picks it up. There's no note, no explanation, just the rose. By noon, the whole town knows. By evening, everyone is whispering. By Friday, Jacob has marched into the bakery and asked Sarah, the baker's daughter, to marry him. She says yes. They'd been dancing around each other for months, but suddenly it's all so clear. The town's enchanted rose legend is born. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get Silas, our local botanist's, attention. I see him at the market that same Tuesday, examining a display of potted herbs. He's tall. His grey hair, that still has some blonde from his youth, falls into his eyes when he leans close to study a plant. His fingers are gentle as he touches the leaves, his voice soft as he murmurs Latin names to himself. I accidentally knock over a basket of apples near his feet. They roll everywhere, and I make a show of trying to gather them, but my eyes are on him. Silas bends to help, his movements efficient but distracted. "My apologies," he says, gathering apples without really looking at me. "These are a fascinating cultivar, Malus domestica, but the petal structure suggests a heritage strain from the northern orchards." I smile up at him. "They smell nice too." "They do," he agrees absently, already turning toward the herb seller's stall. "The terpene profile is quite distinctive." And just like that, he's gone. The next day, Wednesday, I'm at the tea shop when he comes in for his afternoon cup. I manage to sit at the table next to his, but he's completely absorbed in his notebook, sketching a flower with painstaking detail. "That's beautiful," I venture. He glances up, blinking like he's just noticed I'm there. "Oh, thank you. It's a rare specimen, Lunaria annua. The seed pods look like silver coins." I lean closer. "May I see?" He shows me the page, but his eyes are on the drawing, not me. He talks about the plant's life cycle, its preferred soil conditions, its pollination patterns. I nod and smile, but he's already lost in his botanical world again. I sigh and think, why won't he notice me? Thursday dawns with a clear purpose in my mind. I've learned Silas spends every Thursday afternoon at the community garden, tending to his experimental herb beds. So naturally, I accidentally volunteer to help with the weeding. I arrive at the garden just after lunch, basket in hand, wearing my most practical, while still being flattering, work tunic. Silas is already there, kneeling in the dirt, his blonde grey hair falling forward as he examines something with complete focus. "Oh, hello," I say, as if surprised to see him. "I didn't know you'd be here." He glances up, his blue eyes briefly meeting mine before returning to his plants. "Good afternoon. The sage needs thinning." I kneel beside him and immediately my goblin grace asserts itself. I reach for a cluster of green leaves and yank. "Ah, no, that's not a weed," Silas says quickly, his hand catching mine. His fingers are warm, calloused from years of garden work. "That's Valeriana officinalis. See the root?" I stare at his hand on mine, my heart skipping. "Oh, right." He patiently shows me the difference between the valerian and the actual weeds. His fingers brush mine repeatedly as he points out leaf patterns, root structures, and how to identify proper spacing. "You're a natural at this," he says, and for a moment I think he's looking at me, but no, he's studying the thyme I've just properly thinned. I sigh inwardly. At least I'm learning about plants. Friday. I hatch a new plan that's both bold and slightly desperate. I've learned that Silas visits the library every Friday afternoon to return his weekly stack of botanical texts and browse for new ones. So naturally, I position myself in the botany section, pretending to be deeply absorbed in a book about woodland fungi. He arrives precisely at 2 o'clock, just as the town clock chimes. I hear his soft footsteps before I see him. He moves like someone trying not to startle the very plants he studies. He sets his returned books on the counter with the librarian, then heads straight for the botany shelves where I'm waiting. My heart races as he approaches. I wait until he's just a few feet away, then, accidentally, let a heavy volume slip from my hands. It lands with a loud thud at his feet, making him jump slightly. "Oh, I'm so clumsy," I exclaim, kneeling to retrieve it. Silas bends simultaneously, his fingers closing around the book before I can reach it. He glances at the title, and his entire face lights up with scholarly delight. "Flora of the Whisperwood, excellent choice. The author's taxonomy is a bit outdated, but the hand-painted illustrations are absolutely invaluable. See here." He flips open to a page showing delicate purple flowers. The detail on the Aquilegia petals is masterful. He hands the book back to me, but his eyes haven't left the pages. He's already moving down the shelf, pulling out another volume, completely oblivious to my presence beside him. "Have you read Mendelssohn's work on hybridization?" he asks the air, not me specifically, but I answer anyway. "Not yet. Is it good?" He finally looks at me, really looks at me, and there's a flicker of recognition. "Oh, you're the goblin from the garden, the one who nearly pulled the valerian." I smile, trying not to show my disappointment. "That's me, Dawn." "Dawn," he repeats, as if committing it to memory alongside his plant names. "A lovely name. It means daybreak in the old tongue, appropriate for someone who brings light to dark corners." Then he turns back to his books, and I'm left standing there with my heart doing somersaults. Friday evening, Jacob proposes to Sarah at the bakery. The whole town is buzzing. Mrs. Miller watches from her window, smiling a mysterious smile. I go home alone, clutching my botany book, thinking about grey-blonde hair and blue eyes that only see plants. On the way home, I wonder, what will it take to get Silas to see me the way Jacob sees Sarah? Saturday. I decide to give Silas a break. No planned accidental meetings, mostly because I'm thinking of what to try next. I spend the day helping Mrs. Bramble with her garden. She asks if I've met anyone special. "Yes," I say, then sigh with exasperation. Yes, but he hardly even knows I exist. She pats my shoulder kindly. Such is the way of men, sweetheart. They're either lecherous skirt chasers or woefully clueless. If you really like him, just keep trying. He'll eventually see how wonderful you are, she says with a warm smile. Sunday passes quietly too. Mostly. As I walk through town, the talk on the streets is all about Jacob and Sarah's engagement. Walking home that night, I catch myself humming the wedding march and thinking of our clueless botanist. Monday morning arrives with a chill in the air, and Thomas, the carpenter, wakes to find a perfect rose on his doorstep, identical to Jacob's. No note, no explanation, just that flawless, thornless bloom. I spend Monday afternoon at the market again, this time with a different approach. I've learned Silas visits the herbalist's stall every Monday for rare seeds, so I position myself there, basket full of herbs I don't actually need. He arrives right on schedule, examining packets of seeds with that same focused intensity. I accidentally drop my basket. Seeds scatter everywhere. Silas bends to help without hesitation. Oh, these are chamomile seeds. Good choice for a beginner's garden. I smile. I'm hoping they'll help me sleep better. I keep having these dreams. He finally looks at me. Dreams? About flowers, I say, my voice soft. Beautiful ones, but they're always just out of reach. For a moment, our eyes hold. Something flickers in his expression, confusion maybe, or interest. Then Mrs. Miller walks past, humming the wedding march, and Silas's attention breaks. Interesting, he murmurs, already turning back to his seeds. Chamomile can influence dream patterns. You might try adding lavender for synergy, he says, his fingers brushing mine as he hands me a small packet. Though be careful, Lavandula angustifolia prefers well-drained soil. I nod, my heart doing a little flip. At least he's talking to me. Actually talking, not just lecturing about Latin names. Tuesday morning dawns bright and clear. The town is buzzing when word spreads about the rose on Thomas's doorstep yesterday, just like happened to Jacob. By the end of the week, Thomas has proposed to Mary the seamstress, just like Jacob did. Now rumours are starting to spread like wildfire. Who's leaving the roses at people's doors? And are they enchanted? Are they making men fall in love? I wake up Tuesday morning thinking of Silas, of his blue eyes and his gentle hands, and the way he said synergy. But he still hasn't noticed me. Not really. And I'm running out of ideas. Tuesday morning, I find Silas at his cottage. He's in his garden, already working. Silas, I call out, could you maybe help me plant those seeds? The chamomile and lavender. I'm worried I'll do it wrong. He looks up, surprised, then thoughtful. I suppose I could. When were you thinking? Today? I ask hopefully. Or any time that works for you? He studies me for a moment, really studies me, and I see something shift in his expression. How about this afternoon? 2 o'clock? Where exactly are you planting them? Oh, in my backyard. There's plenty of room and sunshine, I say, beaming. He nods. Sunlight is good. All right. I tell him where I live and say, "See you at 2?" My cheeks are burning pink at the thought of Silas coming to my home. Finally, a real chance to spend time with him. Not just bumping into him, but actually with him. I can barely contain my excitement as I hurry home to prepare. Tuesday afternoon arrives. I wait by the window like a nervous hatchling. Right at 2, Silas appears, carrying a small wooden box of gardening tools and a serious expression. "Thank you for coming," I say, opening the door with a bright smile. He nods. "Of course. Shall we assess the soil?" My backyard is mostly wild growth with potential. Silas meals immediately, digging his fingers into the dirt. Good drainage. We'll amend it with some compost. For the next hour, he shows me proper spacing, how deep to plant each seed, the way to pat the soil just so. His hands guide mine more than once. I try to focus on his words. Chamomile needs light to germinate. Lavender prefers to dry between waterings. But I'm distracted by the warmth of his fingers, the way his grey-blonde hair falls when he leans close. He even draws me a little map of where we planted everything. "Here," he says, pressing the paper into my palm. "So you remember where they are and won't mistake them for weeds." Our eyes meet. For a moment, he doesn't look away. "Thank you," I whisper. "You're welcome, Dawn," he says, and this time he actually smiles. I'll check on their progress in a few days. He leaves, and I stand in my doorway clutching that map like a treasure. He used my name, and he smiled. Maybe there's hope after all. Wednesday morning, I'm at the tea shop when Silas walks in. We both reach for the same jar of honey at the same time. Our fingers brush, and he actually jumps a little. "Oh, Dawn, I was just thinking about your seeds. The soil temperature should be perfect for germination now." I smile. "When do you think you'll come check on them?" He hesitates. "How about Friday afternoon?" "Perfect," I breathe. He leaves, and Mrs. Miller watches us from her corner table, smiling that mysterious smile again. Thursday, at the herbalist's stall, Silas and I reach for the same packet of chamomile seeds. Again. He laughs, a real, genuine laugh that makes my heart skip. "Dawn, we must stop meeting like this." "I don't mind," I say, and his cheeks turn pink. At that moment, Thomas the carpenter walks past us, buying a bouquet of wildflowers. Silas watches him go. Interesting. Those are Primula vulgaris, primroses, traditional symbol of new beginnings. I smile. Maybe someone's starting something new. Little do we know, Thomas is planning his proposal to Mary for tomorrow. But right now, Silas is looking at me, not the plants, and that's all that matters. Friday morning, the town's buzzing. Thomas proposed to Mary, just like Jacob did with Sarah after the rose appeared on his doorsteps. Everyone's whispering about it. What's going on? Where are these roses coming from? And why do they seem to lead to proposals? Are they enchanted in some way? Silas arrives at my cottage right on time, tools in hand. "Let's check those seedlings," he says. To my delight, tiny green shoots have emerged. Silas kneels beside them, his smile genuine. Perfect germination. Look how strong they are. He takes my hand, guiding my fingers to gently touch the sprouts. His touch lingers. "You're a good gardener," he says softly, and his blue eyes meet mine, not the plants. For once, just mine. The moment stretches. Neither of us moves. "Silas." I pause, then, "Do you believe in enchanted roses?" He smiles warmly. "I believe in soil, water, and patience. Magic is just science we haven't explained yet." Then he squeezes my hand once, releases it, and I know something has shifted between us. Something warm. Something real. The mystery deepens, but right now, I don't care about roses. I care about the botanist who's finally seeing me. Monday morning. Silas finds a perfect red rose on his doorstep. No note, just the bloom. He brings it to his workshop, examining it under his magnifying glass. "Rosa gallica," he murmurs. "Common garden rose. Nothing enchanted about it." Jacob comes by to visit and sees Silas holding the rose. "What's with the rose, Silas?" Jacob asks. "Found it on my doorsteps this morning," he tells Jacob. "Oh, really?" Jacob looks at Silas with mirth. "So, who's the lucky girl, Silas?" Silas blushes and sputters. What do you mean?" "Oh, come on, Silas. You know what's been happening around town. Looks like you're next. Is it that cute Goblin girl I've seen you with a lot lately?" "Dawn? I mean, she is cute, yes. You do know there's no such thing as enchanted roses though, right? It's just a silly rumour, Jacob." Sure, Jacob says, a knowing smile on his face as he leaves. Silas doesn't believe in any of that nonsense, but he keeps the rose in a vase by his window anyway. Of course, Jacob can't keep his mouth shut, and soon the town buzzes with speculation. 3 roses! Will there be a third proposal soon? The enchantment theory is spreading. Monday afternoon. I visit Mrs. Miller for tea. She pours my cup and smiles that knowing smile. "Dawn, dear, I notice you've been spending quite a bit of time with Silas lately." I nearly choke on my tea. "We've just been working on my garden." "Of course," she says, eyes twinkling. "And how are those chamomile seeds doing?" "They're sprouting beautifully." "I'm sure they are," she says, and her smile says she knows exactly what's happening. Sometimes all a plant needs is a little encouragement to bloom. Tuesday arrives, and I decide to visit Silas at his cottage under the guise of asking about the seedlings. When he answers the door, he invites me in. "I was just checking the greenhouse. Would you like to see?" "Yes," I answer. "I'd love to." We're standing close, examining a particularly delicate orchid, when he reaches for my hand. Not by accident this time, intentionally, guiding my fingers to feel the texture of the petals. His thumb brushes across my knuckles. "See how smooth, like silk." I look up at him. "Silas." "Dawn," he says, and for the first time he doesn't let go. Our fingers stay tangled together a little longer, like we forgot to let go. Outside, the town is still buzzing about roses, but in here, there's just us, and something is definitely blooming. Wednesday morning, I'm helping Silas in his greenhouse when I trip over a watering can. He catches me, properly catches me, arms wrapping around my waist. We freeze, my face against his chest, his heartbeat quick under my ear. "Are you all right?" he whispers. I nod, but neither of us moves. His arms stay around me. My hands rest on his shoulders. "Silas," I whisper. "Dawn," he breathes back. We stay like that, holding each other, because letting go feels wrong. The world outside fades. There's just his warmth, his scent of earth and roses, and the feeling that this is exactly where I'm meant to be. Finally, slowly, he loosens his hold, but his hand finds mine as we step apart, and he doesn't let go until I leave that evening. Thursday afternoon, Silas comes by to check the seedlings. They're thriving, tiny green leaves reaching toward the sun. He studies them, then turns to me with a timid smile. "Dawn, would you join me for supper tonight, at my cottage?" My heart leaps. Yes, I'd love to. That evening he cooks a hearty meal of baked mutton with fresh vegetables from his garden. We eat by candlelight. He tells me about his late wife, how he'd grown her favourite vegetables, and how lonely he's been since she passed. I tell him about my days of wandering, searching for a home. After dinner, we sit close on his porch. He takes my hand, and this time there's no hesitation. "Dawn," he whispers, I like you, a lot. I think I might be falling in love with you." I gasp, my heart pounding in my chest. "Oh, Silas, I've loved you for a long time. I thought you'd never notice." He kisses me, soft and deep, full of promise. We stay there, kissing the night away, exploring this new love that's blooming between us. Friday. There's a knock on my door. I open it to find Silas on one knee, a bouquet of roses from his garden in his hands held out toward me. His blue eyes meet mine, full of hope. "Dawn," he says softly. I've come to realize that every time I see you, my heart skips a beat. Your beautiful smile and dazzling eyes are something I've come to look forward to seeing each day. It would make me very happy if I could wake up each morning with you by my side. Dawn, would you marry me? I can barely breathe. Yes, oh yes! Behind him, Mrs. Miller watches from her garden, that knowing smile on her face. The town will never know who left those first roses, or if they were truly magic. But they worked their spell just the same. The end. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It means everything to me. I hope to see you for the next one. Goodbye.